Hey everyone, and welcome back to Planet Zoo. Welcome back to another diorama. And today we are building something really special. We are building a little homage for the Miniatur Wunderland in Hamburg and its 20 years anniversary. So first of all, if you guys don't know what the heck the Miniatur Wunderland in Hamburg is, this is basically the world's most famous, I would say, but also the world's most biggest miniature world, indoor miniature world that is existing. So they have kilometers of miniature terrains, they have miniature world, they have a lot of different continents built and stuff. And for 20 years they're doing this already in the Hamburg dungeon. So if you guys are ever in Hamburg in Germany, you must go there, because I think this is one of the best crossovers, so to say, to what we are doing here on YouTube with the builds. Now, I'm a huge fan of the miniature world in Hamburg, simply because I think a lot of what they do is the same type of inspiration that we as creators on YouTube, especially with these Sandbox games, deliver. So what they basically do, they build dioramas if you want. So they build just some bigger dioramas. So every world they build is somewhat of a reminiscence of the real world. So it's basically a cut-off of the real world and put that into a miniature world. So obviously scale is off, obviously dimensions are off, but they still manage to create the same feel and the same atmosphere of what you can see. So for example, they have the Grand Canyon there, they have like a futuristic, crazy, airport, which is great. It's maybe not that futuristic anymore, but once they built this, it was a huge milestone in the miniature world, because they managed to do something really crazy technology-wise. And you have to imagine that everything is like fully functional. Like there are cars driving around, there are trains driving around, there are airplanes flying around. They have like a very cool mechanism of making planes land and take off and stuff like that. So it's really like it's a dream come true if you're a kid or if you're passionate about Sandbox builds and games. So I could go on praising them for like hours here, but that's not the point of the video. I just want to create a model of what the Miniatur Wunderland looks like in some way, and I do the exact same thing like that they do. I take inspiration from Hamburg, from how it looks over there, and I'm building a model of that area. So the Miniatur Wunderland is in Hamburg Dungeon, which is part of the old warehouses. In German it's called the Speicherstadt. It's pretty famous, that's like a huge part of Hamburg, and there are very stylish old buildings. Basically what has been in there early on has been, I think, tea and rum and stuff like that, like big depots for like the world's trade from the big, overseas trade with ships and stuff. And then these warehouses were basically where you had all the stuff, like also beer and wine and, all the goods that you basically carry from other continents over to here. In Hamburg was one of the biggest places in which they had these huge warehouses, and this is what it is. And they took a chunk of this, and where they started building the miniature world. And just lately they expanded their world by putting a bridge over to the other side. So you can see there's like a canal in the middle, which is a little bit of a layout which I did already here. And later on we will have this bridge crossing over, and there will be fennec foxes and meerkats roaming around. Rather funny though, lately, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, they posted on their Instagram channel that they had also some animals in their miniature world, and it looked kind of funny. So, on stream we also had the idea to put some small animals in, and it looks rather ridiculous because they're like a little bit too big. They're not that much big, because meerkats and fennec foxes in this game are hugely smaller than what you would expect. Like they are tiny, and they still look kind of big in this world though, because I think it's shrunk down by 50%. Like if you would take one of these builds, I completely shrunk it down to like from 4 meters to 2 meters, so it seemed all a bit bigger than it is from far away. But then again, just to make that miniature world work, because if I would have done this in like real size, I would have done, it still would work. I could make like a bigger diorama out of it and just zoom out further away, and then it just kind of does the same. But I don't know, it just didn't feel right to do it that way. So I went a little bit smaller to just make it appear a bit more cramped in and just like a miniature world, That's what I wanted to achieve. And you can see I was struggling quite a bit here with the buildings, simply because I went off grid and made things smaller. So I needed to somehow find a way to, at least get a little bit of the dimensions right. They are far from being correct, but I think that's not the point, That's also also not the point of a miniature world in general. The point of a miniature world is to carry over the feeling, the atmosphere, and just the general looks of it. And I think this is a beautiful way of doing it, just in general. It sparks inspiration. It just kind of challenges your mind to compare that what you would actually expect from the real world, and then, you know, let your mind do the trick to have the same feeling as you would have if you've been there. So really cool stuff. And I know a lot of people who actually went there, being from other countries as well, because this is also internationally widely known, at least among the people that are interested in that, or among the people that visited Hamburg. So it is really a beautiful thing, and again, the fan base is very international, and I heard a lot of people from other countries going there. It's like, hey, wow, they captured the essence of my area so well. And you know, I think this is really like, this is really why you can tell that these people making this, it started as a hobby, and it's a big passion for them. I mean, surely it is a business at this point as well. They have to make the money, you know, from ticket prices and stuff like Epedemic is also not the best thing for them. So at the end of the day, I'm quite happy that they still survived and everything is fine. But again, it's really something beautiful that they are capable of running this as a business, and, you know, fulfilling their own dreams. It's almost like, you know, becoming, just free enough, or like having the financial background to do this hobby as a business is almost the same as going full-time as a YouTuber and being able to do that. I mean, I'm not doing this, but you know, I know people that do this, and just having the freedom to make money off of what you love is potentially the best thing ever. And I know, and this is something I wanted to talk about for a very, very long time, I'm gonna take the time now for a couple of minutes to talk about why I think many of those YouTube tutorials and trainings of how to become a successful YouTuber and stuff like that are utter bullshit. Sorry to say it that way, but it is. Many of those trainers, coaches, whatnot, they are not official trainers or coaches. They are just people who made it on YouTube. Props to them. They fully deserve it to be in that position. However, I think it's very dangerous to suggest that everyone can make it, because no, not everyone can make it. Not even a lot of people can make it. Only a fraction of people will ever make it to this point. And there's a simple reason why. It is like in every other business of the world, there is not an endless audience or like an endless possibility of things. You can only sell so many things in a business as much as people demand it for. You know, you can't sell more smartphones than people want. You can't sell more TVs than people want. And hell, you can't even sell more houses than people want, even though the Americans tried that and failed, but whatever. You know, there is a limit to what you can do, and just naturally not everyone can do it. This is the first point, and this is why I find this a bit tricky, you know, especially with like, of course, it is the best thing to tell people you have to find a niche. And I fully agree with that. You know, this tip, for example, is working. You definitely should not go into a mainstream if you have not whatever the best idea ever to enter that market. You definitely have to find your niche to be in a position to outperform others. But then again, you have, and this is one of the correct questions they ask, is like, is this what I'm doing good enough that not someone else can just enter the market and do it better? And here's already the first point you have to think about. So if you have to find something that you would consider better than anyone else could do to jump on the market, is already a very bold claim, because we shouldn't be too naive to believe that we are the best persons in the world in whatever we do, you know. And so it is a very bold claim to say that what you do is the best thing and no one else could do it better. I hardly believe that this is even true, but you have to imagine the better you do, the lesser people can do it effectively. So that is already a very hard topic to talk about, because you need to understand that, you know, it's not really always about the best or whatever. It's about, does it reach the people where you are, when you are, you know. It's like time and product at this, you know, meet at the same demand, so to say. Really great stuff if that works. But again, it is just possible for a fraction of people, you know. Again, the same applies to Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. I was insanely lucky to be around at the right time with the right people, with the right positioning, you know. That was just utter luck. That was pure luck. I never sat down and was like, hey, I'm going to build like a Star Destroyer because that's the thing that everyone wants to see now in the Planet Coaster community that I had not even an idea of that it existed, you know. And so the same goes with dioramas. It was like that. I was not looking into trends or whatever. I was like, hey, you know, I want to do something which is a bit, you know, less of a big project, and I want to still do something creative. Let's do a diorama. And all of a sudden, everyone makes dioramas because it seems that I hit a kind of demand at this point to do something new. And you know what? This was just, again, pure luck, which, you know, I worked for. Okay, that's fair enough, but it was luck. And I really do believe it is not easy to create luck that way. You can work for it to increase the chances of being lucky by just providing a lot of content, to look into what content would be nice and stuff like that. But all of this requires time, a certain skill that you need to have. And also, not everyone is good at talking. Not everyone is good at presenting things. And you know what? They don't need to, because these people might be great at other things. And this is why I'm really having a big issue with this. Like, if you want to make a career off of YouTube, that is a fine claim, and I'm the last person to say no, do something else. Because if you think you have a great business idea, go for it. But I'm gonna tell you, if you are not capable of doing certain things that are required for this thing you want to do, then you will fail. There's no point in saying something else. Because if you want to become, let's say, an engineer, you know, but you have a insane problem with math and with, let's say, three-dimensional thinking, you won't ever become a great engineer. No matter how hard you try, if you don't have these capabilities, you won't become a great engineer. And the same goes for other things. You know, you can't become like a good, you know, let's say, for example, like you can't become a good journalist if you're not good at research. You know, if you have no idea how to do good research, and if you don't want to do it, and you're not as, let's say, perfectionist enough for doing that, you won't become that. But that's not a big deal. You can do so many other things. Maybe you're great at painting, you're great at drawing, or you're just a very, very great musician. There is a place for everyone, but it's very, very, very hard for me to say, hey, everyone can become YouTuber or whatever. No, that's just the lie. And this is something I really recently thought about a lot, because many people ask me how to start with YouTube and stuff. And you know what? As a hobby, everyone should start YouTube because it sparks inspiration. It's great. But turning that into a job, oh boy, that's a very hard task to do. So just wanted to give that out because I think this is a very good topic with this build, because I think, you know, this build in particular is carrying so much inspiration. And again, I want to thank the makers of Miniatur Wunderland for all this inspiration. But again, it only worked because they have the talent, they had the passion, and they are willing to invest so much time of their life into this project. That's why it's working, and it's a brilliant thing. But again, don't let yourself be fooled by so many people who tell you everything like that is just easy and you just have to follow some tutorials, which doesn't mean that tutorials aren't a great thing, you know, to learn stuff and stuff. You can always do tutorials, best thing ever. I do the same. So just, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but that was just a little talk I wanted to do for a long time, and I just found it very fitting today because it showed how much luck and situational awareness and timing has to come together to make things like that happening. And this is why I think the 20 years of the Miniatur Wunderland in Hamburg is such a huge achievement, you know, because doing that for a hobby, if you wouldn't get any money for that for 20 years would be, yeah, nearly impossible. So all I want to say is huge congrats to you guys there. It's an amazing achievement. I really love what you're doing. Keep on doing that. If you ever want to do a cooperation or whatever, you find my email somewhere on my channel, you know, just plugging that in. Okay, what? Okay, never mind. No, I just get, you know, I just love to be there, and I will go there again, and I can't wait to bring the little one there to show all these things to her as well. Really cool stuff. But yeah, I call myself out for the time lapse, but I'll be back with you in like 2-ish minutes in a real-time part showing you off this build and which kind of animals we have in. So enjoy the last bit of the time lapse, and I talk to you again in a couple of minutes in the real-time part. Alright, so here we are in the real-time part, and boy am I happy with the result. I have to say, like midway through this build I was a little bit worried if I can deliver, but here we are, this is the final build, and yes, I talked about this quite a bit already in the time-lapse, but you can see that there are a couple of things changed, and you know, I did a bit of screen, but overall I'm super happy with how it turned out. Like this is like a little bit of a fake in many ways. Now I think in terms of how the layout is, it's, you know, somewhat at least the right sides. As you can see, I just took some pictures and stuff like for the reference. This is where there is, but you know, I could have gone completely nuts and built like little bits, like little miniature worlds, like with small art shapes and stuff. But again, for the sake of a diorama and a, you know, homage of this kind of thing, it really doesn't matter too much, because from a distance you can't really see. You do see that there's a couple of things going on, but you don't really necessarily see if there's anything in particular going on. What I also did is, as you can see, there are animals running through here, and it looks kind of funny because they're like completely oversized, obviously, if you see them in there. Let's see if we can catch someone. I put the bridge in, as you have seen in the time-lapse, and then I put these kind of connection, it's not even a stair, it's like walkways, you know, so the animals can walk up here and then go to the other side via this bridge and then come down on the other side, which is kind of nice because they actually do it. You can see them running here. I'm gonna just quickly speed it up and see if we can catch someone running through here, because it really is the right way of doing it. So you can see there's like a little fennec fox coming over here, and they are so small. I mean, I love it. I mean, in relation to this, they look like almost like dog size, you know. There's like a proper, I don't know, a really good dog, like a German Shepherd sort of size, you know. Let me just quickly give that thing a run for its money to its point here. I mean, the only point is they're just like moving through here. I put some enrichment items in, but they freaking don't care, so they just run through here. But I think it's pretty cool that we have animals coming through here, and that this is a little bit of an interaction going on. The bridge most likely is a little bit too big for what it should be, but the problem is I couldn't make them run through. Otherwise, you know, the hitboxes in this game are kind of ridiculous. So, you know, I can quickly show you by clicking one of those. Wait, there was someone running through here. There you go. And if we just see, you can see there is already just a very small narrow thing in the middle. Like I could make it a bit more, yeah, maybe like half a step more narrow, but that's about it. So it won't change much. So I went a little bit of the safe route, you know, to do it that way. And just put some details here and there, make the benches somewhat smaller. You can really tell how small the benches are if you see the fennec fox next to it. Like again, it almost gets like dog-sized this way. And we've got some magic meerkats over here, but the same applies over here. You can see, let me see, they will be running over here. There you go. There's like a fennec fox coming out of here, and you can see this is like all sized down to make it really appear nice. You can really tell now next to the bench how small the benches are as well. But again, I'm super happy with how that turned out in general. Like it really is the kind of homage I wanted to do. I like the model a lot. It can actually work as like a miniature model if you want. Just imagine putting that into the miniature world, and it kind of would work. So yeah, I'm just happy that it, you know, played out the way it did. I mean, the Elbphilharmonie here in the back is not the best model I've ever done. I kind of love how it looked because these, you know, tiles work beautifully, but the roof obviously is just kind of like a little bit off, and just, but again, it just should be in the background. You can see the roof is almost vanishing already if I go too far away because of all these tiny pieces. I don't know how many, I couldn't even move it. Let me see, does it actually, oh yeah, well, it's just 19,000 pieces. Why not? So, wow, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of this little diorama. It was a bit of a different one. I wanted to do it because, like, I'm a big fan of the miniature world, and 20 years is really crazy. I know that a lot of people all over the world love that a lot, and they have a big fan base, and I thought, you know what, I like it a lot. I've been 3 times there. It's really like a great place to be. I really want to know and want to visit this with the new world, which in fact is this way over here. This is like the new world that opened. I haven't seen that anyways. I haven't been there since the bridge has been installed, and there's like, I think it's like Brazilian area and like the other of America anyways. This is something they didn't have so far, so really excited about this. And yeah, just in general, I really hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, as a little reminder, if you guys love the stuff I'm doing here and if you want to support more, I have some new membership options for you down there. Below the video, you'll find the button. There are 3 different perks. Basically, they all give you the same. I just wanted to have different heights of the perks. So maybe if you want to support, but you don't want to spend that much, you can decide for what you want. And again, I'm just very thankful for every single one of you who's just watching the video, hitting the like button and leave a comment or watch till the end, because that helps the most. Watch time is everything. So yeah, in case you guys want to support, you can do it, but you know, it's perfectly fine if you just continue watching the videos, because that's again something I do for my passion and I really love doing. So I hope you guys are fine with this. I hope you guys have a great weekend, or actually you had a great weekend depending on when you watch that video, and I wish you a beautiful week next week. Stay safe everyone, have a good time, and I talk to you in the next one. Thank you.